Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Giridhari Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai Nityal Pravishram Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Guru Dev ki Jai Nityal Pravishram Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Nityal Pravishram Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Nityal Pravishram Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai Nityal Pravishra Maha-bhagavat Śrīla Gaurkishora Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Nityal Pravishra Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai Nityal Pravishra Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Raghunath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Shri Rupa Anuga Guru Varga ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai Namachar Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Virja Mandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki Jai Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki Jai Shri Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Nimāi Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Vo Hare Krishna Hari Bol Nri Hari Prabhu Dandavat Pranam. Let's see on YouTube, Facebook. Hari Bol Vidya Lala Sadidi. Okay, so let's choose something to sing now. My computer is frozen. Maybe we should just sing from this. Okay, I'm just going to do this little kirtan here. This is by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So this is the following names of Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his chant the following names of Sriman Mahaprabhu and his associates. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, Srivas Thakur, Murari Gupta, Mukunda Datta, Sarup Damodar Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Paramananda Puri, and Ramananda Rai. In Gitavali, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has a bunch of songs that are just little small songs for one verse songs that he wrote, Jai Godramapati Gora, Kali Yuga Pavana Vishvambara, Krishna Chaitanya, like that. O Krishna Chaitanya Advaita Prabhu Nityananda, Krishna Chaitanya Advaita Prabhu Nityananda, Gadadhar Srinivasa Murari Mukunda, Gadadhar Srinivasa Murari Mukunda, Krishna Chaitanya Advaita Prabhu Nityananda, Krishna Chaitanya Advaita Prabhu Nityananda, Aswarupa Sanatana Puri Rama Nanda, Swarupa Sanatana Puri Ramananda, Krishna Chaitanya Advaita Prabhu Nityananda, Krishna Chaitanya Advaita Prabhu Nityananda, Gadadhar Srinivasa Murari Mukunda, Swarupa Sanatan Puri Ramananda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, everybody. So, we'll do Mangalacharana now, and then I will do a little recap of what we read previously. Today I'm a little bit extra tired, like more tired than usual, but I think you can make it through. Today's going to be a very short reading though. Usually we read about 4,500 words every day, around there, like around 5,000 words every day. And today we're only reading 2,500, so half of what we normally read. Okay, I'm just sharing my screen again. 1 second. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalai Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ajanulambita bhujau kanakavatato sankirtanaika pitaro kamalaya-taksho vishwambharo dijavaro yugadharmapalo vande jagat priyakaro karunavataro namastrikala satyaya jagannatha sutaya cha sabhrityaya saputraya sakalatraya te namaha. Avatirno sakarunyo parichinno sarishvaro Śrī Krishna Caitanya Nityanando Dvau Bhrataro Bhaje Sajayati Vishuddha Vikrama Kanakabha Kamalaya Tekshana Parajan Vilambi Bhujo Bahudha Bhakti Rasa Bhinartaka Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandra Jayati Jayati Kirtis Tasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Brityas Tasya Vishveshamurte Jayati Jayati Nrityam Tasya Sarva Priyanam Adi Śrī Caitanya Priya Goshtir Charane Ashisha Prakare Mor Tanda Paraname Tabe Vando Śrī Krishna Caitanya Maheshwar Navadvipe Avatar Nama Vishwambar Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvang Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptashtakamadhitaranga madhe Kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna Vrinde namaste charanaravindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, now we're going to read the glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, Ādi-lila, chapter 8, verses 33 to 42. Ore mura lok shuno Caitanya mangal, Caitanya mahima jate jani beshakal. Krishna lila bhagavate kohe veda vyas, Caitanya lila vyas vrindavana das. Vrindavana das koilo Caitanya mangal. जहाँ रश्रवणे नाशे सर्वया मंगल. चैतन्य नितार जाते जानिए महिमा, जाते जानिए कृष्ण भक्ति सिद्धांतेर सीमा. भागवते जत भक्ति सिद्धांतेर सार, लिखिया चेन इहा जानी कोरिया उदार. Caitanya mangal shune jadi pasandi javan, seho mahavaishnava hoy tatakhan. Manushe rachite nare aiche granta dhanya, Vrindavana dasa mukhe vakta Śrī Caitanya. Vrindavana dasa pare कोटि नमस्कार. ऐच्छे ग्रंथ करिते हो तारिला संसार. नारायणी चैतन्येर उच्चिष्ट भजन, तार गर्भे जन्मिला श्रीदास वृंदावन. तार की अद्भुत चैतन्य चरित वर्णन, जहाँ रसवने शुद्ध कोइल त्रिभुवन. सहजे विचित्र मधुर चैतन्य विहार, वृंदावन दास मुखे अमृते धार. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet, and when they are described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Hari Bol, Karuna Didi, and Raseshwari Mataji, Rup Manjari Didi, Nimāi, Sudevi Didi. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Alright, so what did we read yesterday? Let's go through the verses that we went through yesterday. Okay. Okay, today's gonna be such a short reading. As I mentioned, we'll finish probably half an hour earlier than we normally do. And so I'm gonna read all the translations of the verses from this point onwards. Okay, so after enjoying various pastimes in the waters of the Ganga, Śrī Gaurachandra joyfully returned home. The Lord then worshipped Vishnu according to regulation, and after watering Tulsi, he took his meal. Immediately after taking his meal, the Lord took his books and sat in a solitary place. The Lord, who is the crest jewel amongst the demigods, fully absorbed himself in his studies, and composed his own commentary on the sutras. Seeing his son studying attentively, Jagannath Mishra floated in an ocean of happiness, and forgot whether it was day or night. Every day, Jagannath Mishra felt indescribable happiness on seeing the face of his son. Sri Mishra drank the nectarian beauty of his son's form in such a way that it appeared he had merged his body with the Lord. Jagannath Mishra, however, considered the happiness of merging with the Lord to be most insignificant. I offer unlimited obeisances at the feet of Sri Jagannath Mishra, whose son was the Lord of innumerable universes. In this way, whenever he saw his son, Sri Mishra Chandra would float in an ocean of bliss. The beauty of the Lord surpassed that of Cupid. Each of his limbs was extraordinarily beautiful. One second, I'm just getting some water. Seeing the beauty of his son, Jagannath Mishra thought, I am afraid that my son may be attacked by ghosts or demons. Out of fear, Sri Mishra surrendered his son at the lotus feet of Krishna, as Gaur Chandra smiled while watching from a secluded place. And Jagannath Mishra prayed, O Krishna, you are the protector of all. Please glance mercifully on my son. Whoever remembers your lotus feet will never face any disturbances at home. Those sinful places where you are not remembered are the residence of ghosts, witches, and evil spirits. And then there's this verse from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. My dear king, whenever people in any position perform their occupational duties of devotional service by chanting and hearing, there cannot be any danger from bad elements. Therefore, there is no need for anxiety about Gokul while the Supreme Personality of Godhead was personally present. This is in the context of killing Putana, I think. O my Lord, I am your servant. Everything I possess belongs to you. So please preserve it, Jagannath Mishra is praying. Therefore, do not allow any obstacle or danger to disturb my son. In this way, with folded hands and fixed concentration, Jagannath Mishra constantly begged for the Lord's mercy. Then, one day, Jagannath Mishra unexpectedly had a dream that filled his heart simultaneously with happiness and lamentation. After the dream, he offered obeisances and prayed, O Lord Govinda, let Nimāi stay at home. O Krishna, this is the only benediction that I ask of you. Let Nimāi stay at home as a householder. Astonished, Shachi inquired, Why are you suddenly asking for these benedictions? Jagannath Mishra replied, Today I dreamt that Nimāi had shaved his head. I'm unable to describe how wonderfully he looked, dressed as a sannyasi. He laughed, danced, and cried while constantly chanting the name of Krishna. Headed by Advaita Acharya, the devotees performed kirtan as they circumambulated Nimāi. The next moment, I saw Nimāi sitting on Vishnu's Singhasan and placing his feet on the heads of the devotees. Brahma, Shiva, Anantashesh, everyone chanted, Jai Shachinandan. As I watched devotees in all directions offering prayers with great ecstasy, I became speechless out of fear.
Shortly thereafter, I saw Nimāi dancing through the streets of Navadvip, surrounded by millions of people. As those innumerable people followed Nimāi, the sound of their chanting the names of Hari pierced the coverings of the universe. The only sound I heard was the prayers that were being offered to Nimāi from all sides as they traveled on the path to Nilachal. After seeing this dream, I became filled with anxiety that Nimāi will leave home and take sannyas. Shachi then said, "Although you had such a dream, do not worry. Nimāi will certainly remain at home. He is not interested in anything other than his studies, as if that has become his life and soul." In this way, the most exalted couple discussed various topics out of affection for their son. After passing some days like this, Jagannath Mishra, whose body is eternally pure, departed from this world. After his departure, the Lord cried profusely, just as Ramachandra cried after the departure of Maharaj Dasharatha. Mother Shachi survived simply due to her irresistible attraction for Śrī Gaurachandra. Elaborating on these topics is too painful. Therefore, I have given only a brief description. In this way, Śrī Gaur Hari and his mother controlled their grief as they lived together in seclusion. Shachi Devi engaged fully in the service of her Sachi Devi engaged fully in the service of her fatherless son, with no interest in any other activity. If she did not see Gaurachandra for a danda, that's 24 minutes, she would faint and become blinded. The Lord also constantly displayed affection and pacified his mother with pleasing words. He would say, "O mother, do not be aggrieved. As long as I am with you, you have everything. I will readily bring you that which people consider rare for even Brahma and Shiva." What to speak of her distress, Mother Shachi even forgot her own self upon seeing the beautiful face of Śrī Gaurachandra. He whose remembrance fulfills the desires of all, that he was personally present in the form of her son. Therefore, how could she remain miserable? Rather, Shachi Devi soon recovered her blissful nature. In this way, the Lord of Vaikuntha relished ecstasy as a Brahman child in Navadvip. Although the Lord's house displayed all the symptoms of poverty, he would make demands like the King of Kings. He never considered whether there was anything at home or not. If he didn't get what he demanded, there would be no escape from his wrath. He would even break the door of the house without considering that it was his loss. Still, out of affection, Shachi would try to immediately give him whatever he demanded. One day, as the Lord prepared to go and take bath in the Ganga, he asked his mother for oil and amalaki. "I want to worship the Ganga after taking bath," he said, "so please give me a garland and some sandalwood paste." His mother replied, "Please listen, my dear child. I will go and bring a garland. Just wait a moment." As soon as he heard the words, "I will go bring," the son of Shachi became as angry as Lord Rudra. "You will go now to get a garland? But you're not going to just give it to me right away, I guess." Saying this, the Lord angrily entered the house. In an angry mood, the Lord first broke all the pots of Ganga water. Then he took a stick and broke the containers of oil, ghee, and salt to pieces. The Supreme Independent Lord then broke small and big clay pots that were used for auspicious ceremonies. Oil, ghee, milk, rice, cotton, paddy, salt, bori, and mung dal were strewn throughout the entire house. In an angry mood, the Lord tore down and smashed all the hanging pots. He tore apart the cloth and everything else he found in the house. After breaking everything, he directed his anger on the house. Holding a stick in his 2 hands, he began striking the house. No one dared to restrain him. Then, after smashing the doors in the house, he began hitting a tree with his stick. Still, his anger did not subside, and he began striking the earth. Mother Shachi fearfully hid in a corner of the house. The Lord is a personification of religious principles. He advented to establish Sanatan Dharma, so he never tried to hit his mother. Although the Lord was filled with anger, he would not hit his mother. After breaking everything he could, the Lord finally began to roll in the courtyard out of anger. As the golden limbs of the Lord became covered with sand, he appeared indescribably beautiful. After rolling on the ground for some time, Gaur calmed down as he continued lying there. In this way, the Lord of Vaikuntha entered into Yoga Nidra as he lay there on the ground. He who lies on the body of Ananta, he whose lotus feet are constantly served by the goddess of fortune, he who is to be known through the Vedas, that same Lord was now sleeping in the courtyard of Shachi. He whose hair directs the creation, maintenance, and destruction of those universes. He whose glories intoxicate the minds of even Shiva and Brahma. That same Lord was now sleeping in the courtyard of Shachi. As the Supreme Lord thus relished Yoga Nidra, all the demigods either cried or laughed. Shortly thereafter, Shachi Devi brought a garland and other ingredients for worshipping the Ganga. She slowly brushed the sand off the Lord's body and lifted him up. "Get up, my dear son. Open your eyes and take this garland. Go worship the Ganga as you desire. It is good that you have broken everything. I hope that all future impediments have been destroyed by this act." On hearing his mother's words, was she being sarcastic? I think so. On hearing his mother's words, Shri Gaurasundar felt embarrassed and went to take bath. Meanwhile, Mother Shachi cleaned the house and prepared to cook. Although the Lord destroyed so many things, Shachi did not feel any distress. She simply tolerated Gaur's mischief, just as Mother Yashoda tolerated Krishna's unlimited mischief in Gokul. In this way, Shachi, the mother of the universe, constantly tolerated all of Gauranga's mischievous activities. I am unable to describe the many other similar mischievous pastimes performed by the Lord. Mother Shachi tolerated them with all her body, mind, and speech, as though she was Mother Earth herself. After some time, Nimāi, the supreme enjoyer of various pastimes, returned home after taking bath in the Ganga. The Lord then worshipped Vishnu, offered water to Tulsi, and sat down for his meal. Fully satisfied after his meal, the Lord washed his hands and then chewed some betel nut. Thereafter, Mother Shachi softly asked him, "My dear son, why have you destroyed so many things? The house and its door belongs to you. Destroying them is your loss. It is not my concern. You say that you will go to school now, but I have nothing left at home. What will you eat tomorrow?" The Lord smiled and said, "Krishna is the maintainer of everyone. He will maintain us." Saying this, the Lord, who is the husband of the goddess of learning, took his books and went off to school. After happily enjoying his studies, the Lord went to the Ganga in the evening. He passed some time on the bank of the Ganga and then returned to his home. The Lord then called his mother to a secluded place and gave her 20 grams of gold. Dear mother, see what Krishna has given. Please get it exchanged for our necessities. Thereafter, the Lord went to bed while the astonished Shachi Devi considered. She thought, from where does he bring this gold so often? I am afraid that later on some problem might arise. Whenever there's a shortage of necessities at home, he has brought gold. Does he borrow it? Or does he know some mystic power? Otherwise, whose gold is it? And how does he get it? The supremely honest and magnanimous Shachi became fearful of getting gold exchanged so often. Shachi would have the gold checked by 5 or 10 people before getting it exchanged. In this way, the Supreme Lord of all mystic powers secretly resided in Navadvip. Okay, this is where we read up to yesterday. Okay, 1 second. Oh, Haribo, Kishore Prabhu.
Jai Nitai.
I'm just checking. Okay, Manjari Didi. Oh yeah, I know, it is such a heavy and intense pastime. Yeah. Okay. Na charen Śrī Hasta Pustaka Eka Khan Poren Goshtite Jeno Pratyakha Madan. He did not leave aside his books for even a moment, and as he studied with his classmates, he looked just like Cupid. Uh-oh. Oh no, that's verse 5. Okay, 185. Lalate shobhaye urdva tilaka sundar shire Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata sarva manohar. His forehead was decorated with tilak, and the curly hair on his head stole the minds of all. With a Brahman thread hanging on his shoulder, he appeared to be the personification of Brahminical effulgence. His beautiful smiling face was most pleasing, and his teeth were divine. Did I read this Bengali? Let me just read it in case I didn't. Skande upavita brahma teja murtimanta hasyamoy Śrī Mukha prasanna devyadanta. Okay, now this Bengali. Kivashe arbhuta dui kamala nayan Kivashe arbhuta shobhe trikacha vasan. How wonderful were his 2 lotus eyes! And how wonderful was the way he wore his dhoti. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. The word trikacha refers to the style in which elder Bengalis wear their dhotis. When the left end of a dhoti is taken between the legs and tucked in the back, it is called kacha, and when the other end is tucked in at the navel, it is called koncha. When the other end of this koncha is also tucked in at the navel, it is called trikacha. So it's the 3 places where the dhoti is tucked in. That's trikacha. Je dekhe she eka drishti rupa chai heno nahi dhanya dhanya boli je na jai. Whoever saw him could not remove their gaze from his form, and no one could refrain from complimenting his extraordinary beauty. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word ekadrishte means without diversion, without blinking, or without closing the eyes. 189. Heno she arbhuta vyakhya koren thakur, shuniya gurur hoy santosha prachur. After studying, Nimāi gave such nice explanations that his teacher was greatly satisfied with him. Haribol Ganga Mataji. Shakala parua madhe apane dhoriya, bosayen guru sarva pradhana koriya. Indeed, the teacher recognized Nimāi as the foremost of all of his students. Whoa, what happened? Uh-oh, let's go. I lost a spot. Shoot, 1 second. Okay, there. So indeed, the teacher recognized Nimāi as the foremost. Okay, I think that's where we read to, right? Yes. Indeed, the teacher recognized Nimāi as the foremost of all of his students. Guru bole bap tumi mana diya poro, bhattacharya hoiba tumi bolaiya dharo. The teacher said, "Dear child, you must study attentively. Then you will soon be known as a bhattacharya." Gaudiya Bhashya. A Brahmin is eligible for the title of bhattacharya if he has thoroughly studied and has become expert in logic and mimamsa, a particular branch of philosophy. If he has memorized one of the 4 Vedas, or if he is a learned teacher who is expert in philosophy, then he becomes qualified for that title of bhattacharya. Prabhu bole tumi ashirvad koro jale, bhattacharya pad kon durlabha tahare. The Lord replied, "It is not difficult for anyone you bless to become a bhattacharya." 193. Jahare je jigyasen Śrī Gora Sundar, heno nahi padua je dibeka utar. Whenever Śrī Gaurasundar asked a question, none of the students were able to answer. Apani koren tabe sutrer sthapan, sheshe apanara vyakhya koren khandan. He would establish the explanation, and the next moment he would refute it. Gaudiya Bhashya. One should know that the controller of Maya, Lord Vishnu, has the ability to do, undo, and redo anything. Keho jadi kona mate na pare sthapite, tabe she vakhya prabhu koren surite. If someone was unable to establish a point, the Lord would give the proper explanation. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word surite means properly or nicely. Ki ba snane ki bhojane, ki ba parjatane, nahi ko prabhur ar cheshta shastra bine. While bathing, eating, or traveling, the Lord had no engagement other than studying the scriptures. E mato achen thakur vidyarase, prakasha nakore jagater dina doshe. While the Lord enjoyed his pastimes as a student, he did not disclose himself due to the fallen condition of the world. Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase Dina Doshe refers to persons in this world who possess material knowledge and are averse to Lord Vishnu, who is beyond material sense perception. Since they cannot accept the superiority of spiritual knowledge by which one's inclination towards Vishnu is awakened, they are called Dina, or poor. Tridandi Goswami Sriman Prabodhananda Saraswati has written in his Chaitanya Charitamrita, verse 36, as follows. Lord Chaitanya Chandra has expanded a golden ocean of devotional mellows. The most unfortunate persons who is untouched by this ocean is certainly cheated for ages together. Hari Bhakti Shunya Hoilo Shakala Sangsar Asat Sangha Asat Pata Boy Nahiyar. At that time, the entire world was devoid of devotional service to the Lord, and people were engaged simply in materialistic association and activities. Gaudiya Bhashya. All inferior mundane association and processes that have no relationship with the absolute truth Vishnu, the controller of Maya, are simply materialistic association and activities. Nana rupe putradir mahotsava kore deha geha vyatirikta ar nahi spure. People held various grand festivals for their sons and daughters, and they had no care for anything other than their body and home. Gaudiya Bhashya. Foolish materialists of that time were maddened with fruitive activities and simply engaged in satisfying their wives and children. Furthermore, fruitive workers, or persons who were experts in pious activities, who licked the feet of people like Bhima Bhatta, simply engaged their bodies and minds in opening hospitals and schools of mundane knowledge on the pretext of compassion for the purpose of sense gratification in their future life. Such people were under the control of selfish motives, and thus highly averse to serving Krishna without reward. The Smriti Shastras are not meant to educate or uplift the consciousness of the people. These people are ignorant fools. Service to Lord Hari is the highest duty for all people at all times. Due to forgetting this supreme truth, these people developed desires for material enjoyment based on mundane welfare activities. Mithya suke deki sarva loker adar Vaishnaver gan dukha bhaven antar. The Vaishnavas were all distressed at heart to see the people's attachment to illusory happiness. Krishna boli sarva gane koren krandan Esab jivere kripa koro narayan. They all said, O Krishna, O Lord, please be merciful on these fallen souls. Heno deho paya Krishne nahi hoilo rati kotokal giya ar punjibe durgati. These people have not developed attachment for Krishna after attaining this human form of life. How long will they suffer such degradation? Je nara sharir lagi deve kamya kore taha vyarta jai mitya sukher vihare. Their human form of life, which is desired even by the demigods, is being wasted in the pursuit of false happiness. Gaudiya Bhashya. Oh wow, this is a long purport. Okay. So the human form, which is desired even by the demigods, is being wasted in the pursuit of false happiness. Gaudiya Bhashya. The first line of this verse indicates that only the human birth is favorable for worshipping Lord Hari. Therefore, it is desired even by the demigods. The demigods' prayers in the Śrīmad-bhāgavatam 5:19-21-25 in this regard are as follows. Oh, I used to know some of these verses. Bangsi Prabhu made us memorize them. And yeah, I need the first word to be able to. Since the human form of life is a sublime position for spiritual realization, all the demigods in heaven speak in this way. How wonderful is it for these human beings to have been born in the land of Bharatavarsha. They have executed pious acts of austerity in the past, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself must have been pleased with them. Otherwise, how could they engage in devotional service in so many ways? We demigods can only aspire to achieve human births in Bharatavarsha to execute devotional service. But these human beings are already there, engaged there. After performing the very difficult tasks of executing Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, undergoing austerities, observing vows, and giving charity, we have achieved this position as inhabitants of the heavenly planets. But what is the value of this achievement? Here we are certainly very engaged in material sense gratification, and therefore we can hardly remember the lotus feet of Lord Narayan. Indeed, because of our excessive sense gratification, we have almost forgot his lotus feet. A short life in the land of Bharatvarsha is preferable to a life achieved in Brahmaloka for millions and billions of years, because even if one is elevated to Brahmaloka, he must return to repeated birth and death. Although life in Bharatvarsha and a lower planetary system is very short, one who lives there can elevate himself to full Krishna consciousness and achieve the highest perfection, even in this short life, by fully surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Thus one attains Vaikuntha Loka, where there is neither anxiety nor repeated birth in a material body. An intelligent person does not take interest in a place even in the topmost planetary system if the pure Ganges of topics concerning the Supreme Lord's activities does not flow there. If there are not devotees engaged in service on the banks of such a river of piety, or if there are no festivals of Sankirtan Yajna to satisfy the Lord, especially since Sankirtan Yajna is recommended in this age. Bharatvarsha offers the proper land and circumstances in which to execute devotional service, which can free one from the results of jnana and karma. If one obtains a human body in the land of Bharatvarsha with clear sensory organs with which to execute the Sankirtan Yajna, but in spite of this opportunity he does not take to devotional service, he is certainly like liberated forest animals and birds that are careless and are therefore again bound by a hunter. Krishna Jatra Mahotsava Parva nahi kore Vivahadi karme she ananda kori more. They don't celebrate Krishna's appearance day, but they spend their entire lives celebrating weddings and other family festivals. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word yatra is explained by Sridhar Swami in his commentary on the words Puja Yatrotsav Shritam in Śrīmad-bhāgavatam 11:27-50, wherein he says, the word yatra refers to a special function performed by a large group of people, and the word utsav refers to festivals such as Vasanta. Regarding the words Mama Parvanumodanam and Sarva Varshika Prabhasu. So regarding those words in Śrīmad-bhāgavatam 11:36-37, he says, who says, is it Sridhar Swami says? Yeah, think so. The word Parva refers to festivals like Janmashtami and regular observances like Chaturmasya and Akadashi. And in his explanation on the word Mahotsav in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 5.19.23, Sridhar Swami says, "A Mahotsav is a festival in which devotees chant and dance." Regarding the word More, foolish people who consider their bodies as themselves forget their worshipable Lord. In other words, due to ignorance of their relationship with the Lord, they do not endeavor to please Hari, Guru, or Vaishnav. Rather, they engage in various activities for pleasing their own senses and minds. Therefore, they give up the service of adhokshaj, or the path of ultimate benefit, and they accept the path of temporary enjoyment. They do not travel on the path leading to Vaikuntha, or immortality. Rather, they travel the path to hell, or material existence. In this way, they travel through various species and suffer unlimited miseries. The only duty of all living entities is to perform activities for the pleasure of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnav, as stated in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 11.29.8. So this verse from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 11.29.8 says, "Yan Shraddhayar Charan Martyo Mrityum Jayati Durjayam." This means, by the execution of which a mortal human being will conquer unconquerable death. Also in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 2.1.4, Sri Shukadev Goswami speaks to Maharaj Parikshit as follows. "Persons devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problems of life, being too attached to the fallible soldiers like the body, children, and wife. Although sufficiently expressed, still they do not see their inevitable destruction." In the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 3.30, verses 3 to 14 and 18, Lord Kapila Dev speaks the following words to his mother, Devahuti. Kapila Dev said, "The misguided materialist does not know that his very body is impermanent, and that the attractions of home, land, and wealth, which are in relationship to that body, are also temporary. Out of ignorance only, he thinks that everything is permanent. The living entity, in whatever species of life he appears, finds a particular type of satisfaction in that species, and he is never averse to being situated in such a condition. The conditioned living entity is satisfied in his own particular species of life. While deluded by the covering of influence of the illusory energy, he feels little inclined to cast off his body, even when in hell, for he takes delight in hellish enjoyment. Such satisfaction with one's standard of living is due to deep-rooted attraction for body, wife, home, children, animals, wealth, and friends. In such association, the conditioned soul thinks himself quite perfect. Although he is always burning with anxiety, such a fool always performs all kinds of mischievous activities with a hope which is never to be fulfilled in order to maintain his so-called family and society. He gives heart and senses to a woman who falsely charms him with Maya. He enjoys solitary embraces and talking with her, and he is enchanted by the sweet words and small children. The attached householder remains in his family life, which is full of diplomacy and politics. Always spreading miseries and controlled by acts of sense gratification, he acts just to counteract the reactions of all his miseries, and if he can successfully counteract such miseries, he thinks that he is happy. He secures money by committing violence here and there, and although he employs it in the service of his family, he himself eats only a little portion of the food thus purchased, and he goes to hell for those whom he earns the money in such an irregular way. When he suffers reverses in his occupation, he tries again and again to improve himself. But when he is baffled and all attempts is ruined, he accepts money from others because of excessive greed. Thus, the unfortunate man, unsuccessful in maintaining his family members, is bereft of all beauty. He always thinks of his failure, grieving very deeply. Seeing him unable to support them, his wife and others do not treat him with the same respect as before. Even as miserly farmers do not accord the same treatment to their old and worn-out oxen. The foolish family man does not become averse to family life, although he is maintained by those whom he once maintained. Deformed by the influence of old age, he prepares himself to meet ultimate death. Thus, the man who engaged with uncontrolled senses is maintaining a family. Thus, the man who is engaged with uncontrolled senses and maintaining a family dies in great grief, seeing his relatives crying. He dies most pathetically, in great pain, and without consciousness. Okay, only 3 more verses. Tomar se jiva prabho tumi se rakhita, ki bolibo amra tumi se sarva pita. O Lord, the living entities are your parts and parcels, and you are their protector and supreme Father. Wait, who is this speaking? Oh yeah, okay. They don't celebrate Krishna's appearance day, but they spend their entire lives celebrating weddings and other family festivals. Sorry, I just wanted to... O Lord, the living entities are your parts and parcels, and you are their protector and supreme Father. Gaudiya Bhashya. The words Tomar se jiva are explained as follows. Lord Vishnu is the supreme consciousness, and the supreme controller are the supersoul, and the living entities are all controlled by him and possess minute consciousness. Therefore, they are constitutionally Vaishnavas, are subordinate to him. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Mamai Vangsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. E mata bhaktagan sabara kushal, chinten gayen Krishna chandrer mangal. In this way, the devotees always desire the welfare of the living entities, and they pray to Lord Krishna on their behalf. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata chanda jan, Vrindavana dasa tachu pada juge gan. Accepting Śrī Caitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends the English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, Chapter 8, entitled The Disappearance of Jagannath Mishra. So tomorrow we will read Chapter 9, Nityananda's childhood pastimes and travels to the holy places. Okay, sorry guys. So, thanks for being patient with me, because I'm really tired. But that's all we're going to read for today, short reading today, and then we'll continue tomorrow. I was thinking of filling up this reading with our normal word count, but I thought it might be nice to just start Nityananda Prabhu, his glories and his appearance and all that, just on a fresh reading. And it's a good thing I did that, because it's probably been really annoying following this, waiting for me to wake up when I fall asleep. So we'll just do a little Mahamantra and Jayadvani, and then end the program. Hare Krishna. 1 second. Hari Bol, Indira Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhar Pika Giridhari, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupada Shatara Shatashishmar Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shri Guru Devi Ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupada Shatara Shatashishmar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupada Shatara Shatashishmar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupada Shatara Shatashishmar Bhaktivedanta Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupada Shatara Shatashishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nityal Pravishtam Mahabhagavat Shri Gaurkisharas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai, Śrī Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Rishi Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Radha Kun Shama Kun Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai, Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai, Shri Jagannath Mishra ki jai, Shri Shachi Devi ki jai, Shri Shachi Nandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Go, sorry, today say Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
Hari Hari Bo.
Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Haribol. So let me just check. Haribol, Vidyalala Sadidi, Karuna Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, Rupmanjari Didi, Nitai, Sudevi Didi, Ganga Mataji, Indira Mataji, Krishna Chandra Prabhu, and yeah, everybody, Dandavat Pranams. Thanks Indira Mataji. Yes, I'm going to right after I stop this video. But and Dri Hari Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams, and Kishore Krishna Prabhu Pranams. So, Kishore, anything that you want, Kishore, anything that you want to say before we stop the video?
Are you feeling better today compared to yesterday?
Yes, I am. Yeah,
Okay.
but I have a bit of a headache and I'm feeling kind of weak and tired.
Gotcha.
And I haven't really eaten anything like normal yet, but I am feeling better. Yesterday it was pretty bad, and today I'm just kind of at the end of it, I think. But yeah, I was falling asleep so bad today. Oh my god, it's ridiculous. Anyhow, I'm gonna sleep, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be back to normal.
Good. You're still there?
Huh? What's that?
Oh no, I was just wondering if you're still there, because sometimes it freezes and sometimes it goes back to normal then.
Oh, really? Sorry.
Yeah, it's on my side.
Oh, it's on your side. Okay. All right.
I can say something tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. See you all tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow. What are we reading tomorrow? We're reading about Nityananda Prabhu. What is it? Nityananda's childhood pastimes and his travels to the holy places. So that will be exciting. Hopefully I'll be very awake for that, because that's Nityananda Prabhu. We have to be awake for Nityananda Prabhu. So, all right. Haribol, everybody.